push the button. Let's see what happens. Okay. I think it's the right thing now.
Hopefully.
I clicked start stream and the Zoom says live, but it took me to the waiting page. So now it says waiting for the Uptown update. Do I have to press start?
Yeah, it's not on yet.
Okay, hold on. Shit, I made a new thing, I think.
Oh. Ian Wayman is really the homie.
Yeah.
I just saw that. He gave you 2 quote tweets.
What's up, Reed?
I don't see him.
I just submitted him. It's probably taking a sec.
I see the live on the Zoom, but the YouTube's not live yet. It says 4
Yeah,
people are waiting.
I know. It started a new thing, I think.
Wait, it's loading, I think.
What's up, guys?
What's
Hey,
up,
Reed.
Reed?
How y'all doing?
Great. How
Good.
about you?
You ready to go live?
I'm ready. Are we live?
So we are, but not on the right link yet. I have to adjust the settings.
All right, no problem.
There's 8 waiting now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
What's
so
up, y'all? So okay, so Carter, Morgan, Evan, thanks for joining. I think this is actually the wrong link. So we're trying to migrate over to a new link, but since this is our first time doing it, we're having some trouble. So bear with us. Okay.
I got to pull it up on my phone now.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jack, you're so techie figuring this out.
Well, I'm not really figuring it out.
You're getting it done. All right, I see some people. Did you shout out Evan?
Yeah, shout out Evan. Are you in the stream on your phone, Reed?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Morgan, what's up, man? Legend as always. Carter, iPop, he knows what he's doing. This is like a
wait, where
behind
do
the
you
scenes
see
look.
this?
I pulled it up on my phone.
Do
What's
I
the
have the
link,
wrong
Reed?
link?
Can you send me the link that you're using?
Yeah, the current one. Let me see here.
Yeah,
Yeah, do I have the wrong link?
it might be the wrong link.
I'm looking at the one you last tweeted.
And
Um,
does that say like waiting?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So then how does everyone else have the wrong link?
it's
I
going
think they
good,
just went
Morgan.
to our channel and like clicked on
Oh.
the one that was live here. I'm gonna try this. Okay. I don't know if that.
So is that old link done? Can you not get to the
No,
old link?
I'm trying to go to that link because that was more people since we tweeted it.
Here,
Uh,
Jack, I can send it to you.
okay.
I'll
Is
text it
it
to you.
okay? Is it like the U one?
Let me know. I just sent it.
Okay, that's
Tulane
what
tailgate in the house. Let's go. The stuff you do on Instagram is incredible. You carry the entire Instagram because I think you're the only one that we really follow. You have it all.
okay. So I think everyone's found the one that's actually live. So maybe we should stop messing with it.
I sent you the link, Jack. Is it the same?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So okay, we're live on this link.
Can you tweet out that link then?
Yeah. Reed, you want to tweet out that link you just sent me?
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess just delete the other posts so that people don't get confused. All right. Cool. We're doing it.
Wait, let's wait
Yep.
for the tweet and then people to see it.
Yeah.
First one. Thank you guys. If you're in here now, that means that you're a true Tulane fan.
True.
Yeah. The hardcore fans, the 2-10 season fans, not the 12-2 season fans.
What do you guys think about the new rankings? Anything?
I think it's kind of crazy that we're still behind like Oklahoma State and I don't know. I mean, like we have a common opponent. That one's super obvious. The other ones you could make an argument about, but yeah. How do we move up or how do we win, stay the same, win, move down, and then win and move up one? Like we've had 3 wins now and we've gone from 23 to 23. No other school
I
has
don't know.
that. The life of a G5.
Yeah.
Hopefully not
Liberty
for
kind of
long.
scares me. They threw Liberty in there.
They did throw Liberty in there, but if we beat UTSA and SMU, then it's over for Liberty. I mean, at least for their New Year's Six.
Yeah.
I think I'd be worried if I was UTSA. I think SMU could still sneak in over Liberty.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a G5 life. All of us just struggling.
Yeah. And then Clemson got back into the top 25 after beating a bad UNC team that shouldn't have been ranked in the first place. The whole issue with this thing is the preseason rankings, right? I think that's where everything like goes wrong. Cause you have like bad opinions of teams that then like snowball down the road and form like because UNC was ranked super high early in the year, right? So then they lost to 2 bad teams, but because they had a high ranking in the first place, they just fell back. It wasn't like they had to earn their way back in like a lot of other schools do, you know?
Yeah, it's very strange. The rankings at the end of the day don't matter because Tulane's in a great spot, but it would be nice to have a little bit of a cushion. Say, I don't know. I mean, it's a long shot. Tulane loses to UTSA, and then SMU loses. Tulane still in the American Conference Championship. If we win that, do we still make the New Year's Six? Or does Liberty go? So it's just there's a lot of what ifs. It doesn't really matter if Tulane wins.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. I think this team's got it in them. At their best, when Tulane is playing their best football, they're not the 23rd best team in the country. They're way, way higher than that.
Yeah.
I think anyone that watches the team can see that.
Yeah. All right. So guys, I don't want to record for too long. Let's get I want to talk to the chat. I see Morgan in here. I thought it would be higher. I agree. Tennessee being ahead of us. Tennessee has 4 losses. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's
That's
not. They don't even have a
ridiculous.
ranked win. I don't think.
They lost to Florida and Georgia.
Yeah. Liberty, David,
Yeah.
Liberty playing New Mexico State. Mexico State just beat Auburn, so that's pretty exciting.
How is Tennessee even ranked after losing 36-7 to Mizzou?
Probably because they were ranked like top 10 before the season started, or at least top 15.
Yeah, exactly.
To Jack's point.
It's like if you start high, then you just like fall. It's not like you have to win to earn your way up, you know.
They lost early to Florida, like that was game 3.
Like if Tulane didn't start the season ranked, then I think we'd be in the same boat as like Liberty or like Toledo, honestly, if we didn't have last year.
I disagree because our strength of schedule is much better. than Liberty and Toledo.
Yeah, it is. But also like we have the benefit of being the like incumbent Cotton Bowl champions. You know, like we could have been ranked, not had a very good team, and then like been bad,
I
right?
think we'd be
And
about the
then
same. I mean, we had
yeah.
2 losses last season.
Yeah, we did have 2 losses last season. One was the Southern Miss, which was a pretty bad loss. But we also beat the Big
Michael
12
Pratt's
champs.
still undefeated this season.
He is. He is indeed.
He hasn't lost in over a year.
Yeah. And neither is Tulane on the road. You can get to that. Reed, you want to
Road Warriors.
kick off the pod?
Yeah. Do you see what I texted or in the chat?
Yeah, I do.
All right. You want to do an FAU recap? I actually only got to listen to it on radio, but I listened to all of it. It felt pretty good. So I'm gonna need you to carry. All right.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. All right.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting game. Kind of a
Wait,
game.
Jack.
Oh, are we doing like our real thing?
I don't know. What do you think? We can.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should do that.
Do you guys want to see the background of how we do the intro and then get right into the FAU recap? Do you have the chat pulled up, Jack?
Yeah, I do. I can see
All
it.
right.
If there's
All
a
right,
delay, there's like a 10-second delay between when we talk and then when the chat hears it. So
I see Carter. Carter, this is a question for you, Isaac. Any of you guys have any word if Tulane has plans for filling up the student section on Friday?
Yeah. Is it from Carter Mitchell?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think it's going to be filled with a lot of high school students, actually. A very creative way to fill up the student section. I don't think I've seen this, at least in my 4 years. I didn't know I'd be sharing the student section with high school students while I went to Tulane, but this is a good problem to have. And as long as we have a sold out stadium, I'm happy.
All right.
it'll be just like the boot.
Yeah, that's a good question from Carter. When we get to your segment, Isaac, I'll ask that again for the actual podcast. All right. All right. You want to just do the normal? What's the schedule here?
Yeah. We'll do intro. We'll do FAU real quick, just for podcast consistency sake. Then we'll do UTSA. Then I think maybe we can do some Q&A real quick, and then talk about the AD. I think that'll kind of go naturally. And then after that, we can talk about like CFP rankings, championship scenarios, however that goes.
All right. Sounds good. Are you ready to
text the new link? You should tweet the new link.
New link? I tweeted something out. Did it go?
No.
Is there a new link? Oh, sorry. Let me see here.
Okay.
All right. It just said reply sent. See if it went through. Oh, I just sent the Zoom. Shit.
Don't send the Zoom link.
Nobody get
in. I got it.
All right. I deleted it.
Okay. All right.
Shit. Just kidding.
While you tweet out the link, I can do the intro.
I wonder if anybody sees that.
I mean, we just said it. We'll see if they get it. Share. Copy link.
Should try to join.
Isaac, you sent it too. All right. Guys, if you're in the chat now, you're allowed to join the Zoom link because you're in here now. It means you're kind of a big deal.
You found the stream on your own. That's impressive. All right.
Wait, 1 second. 1 second. I also need a recording permission.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
I just tweeted out the link. I'm glad that didn't go through because I tweeted that like 5 minutes ago and Twitter just did not let me do it.
That's really funny.
I would have said,
like, are you sure you want to expose yourself like that? That's what Twitter Blue is good for. They give you like a grace period after you send a tweet, so that way you can catch your mistakes and be like, oh crap, delete before it actually sends.
There's 18 people on right now, actually.
Yeah, Isaac, one more question for you. Danny says, should you hammer the over for this game?
Danny, hammer the over for this game? It's 3. Well, I'm not allowed to bet or technically make betting suggestions, but I do really like this Tulane team, and I think they're very underrated. I think they should be higher than 23 in the college football playoff rankings, and I think they should be higher than, what are we at, 18 now in AP poll? 17?
All
I mean,
right.
I don't even care. All that matters is 1-0. But I
I don't
like
know,
this team.
baby.
I like this team a lot.
That sounds good.
Final score of 1-0. That's my official prediction.
I like it.
Already. Giving it already, huh?
All right, Jack, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give a clap, a little bit behind the scenes. Where's the Zoom link, Jack? All right.
We are back with another live episode of the Uptown Update. Shout out everyone in the chat right here. I see Jacob, David, Jack, Kevin, Nick, Carter, Danny. Y'all are homies. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. And the stage is set, ladies and gentlemen, for an undefeated showdown in Uptown. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Two teams undefeated in conference play will match up. The UTSA Roadrunners, led by Coach Jeff Traylor and quarterback Frank Harris, come down to NOLA to face Willie Fritz's Tulane Green Wave, led by everyone's hero, our hero especially, Michael Pratt.
Jack, I cannot believe that we're here in this position. I remember a long time ago, it feels like now, we were talking about Tulane. If we go 10-2, if we go 9-3, that's a successful year. Tulane is now 10-1 with another chance to host the American Conference Championship after a great win, a great bounce back finally, proving that we are that dominant team over FAU last week, 24-8. Tulane is looking great. We got a great episode for everyone listening.
Yeah, finally a complete game down there in Boca Raton. Complimentary game, one that we've been asking for a while. So yeah, I think we can get straight into this action-packed episode. Reed, do you want to give a little detailed agenda for everyone listening?
Yeah, for sure. So first, we're going to recap that great win against FAU. Then we're going to jump right into a UTSA preview. Obviously, at this point, now the most hyped game of the year. When you keep winning games, every next game is the most important. After that, we're going to get into a little bit of Q&A with our live audience here on YouTube. Thank you again all for listening. And then we'll close it out with the Uptown Update game slate. Make sure you play and you have a chance to win a signed Tulane football card.
Yeah, it's going to be really special. Last one of the season. I think the focus should be on the championship game when that comes around. So be sure to play along. And yeah, let's get right to it. All right, chat. And this is where the that we edited sound.
All right, Jack. Tulane finally came back. They proved that they are the team that we thought they were with a 24-8 win. Really could have been 24-0. FAU had a score in the fourth quarter, but it was a very impressive game. I'm very happy with what I saw and what I heard.
They took care of business. Coach Fritz said the C word for the first time after a game in a positive way. He said Tulane played complimentary football, something that we've been preaching all season long. Yeah, I mean, 24-8. They held a shutout for 3 quarters. Really, really dominant performance. I think on FAU's only scoring drive, they completed 2 4th and longs in their own territory, which they probably would not have done if Tulane wasn't already winning by 24 points. So I'm going to count that as a moral shutout. And yeah, they held LeJontay Wester to under 100 yards, even though he had 11 catches. The defensive line showed up again. They played really well. And we finally got some Brazzle Dazzle, a special performance from Chris Brazzle when he was really the only option available who's familiar with playing with Michael Pratt. Reed.
Yeah, Brazzle had an absolutely incredible game, and obviously Pratt delivering the ball with 3 touchdowns overall. I think something really interesting in this game is obviously this is the best that Tulane has played in a while. Mekhi Hughes had 21 carries for 72 yards, which, that's still a very good game, but it's not quite what we've expected from him. Tulane did it a different way this game. It was through the air. It was through getting the ball to Brazzle, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Michael Pratt's homecoming went about as well as you could have hoped. Apparently he had over like 300 guests, family and friends come watch him play. Nicholas Milton said he was at the game, and it was awesome to see Tulane pack the stadium at a conference foe. That's really cool to see. So pretty exciting. that the fan base is being super mobile and, following the team. I mean, that's what you want from a football school, right?
Yeah, it feels like a long time we've been waiting for this kind of performance. There were so many guys. Alex Bauman's another guy, just so safe. Bryce Bohannon is now emerging. I think he's really taking advantage of this opportunity. I think that one of our live listeners, Evan, mentioned that Bryce Bohannon. I think he's doing a really good job. On the defensive side, DJ Douglas got an interception. I'm pretty sure it was his birthday, so that's a great birthday gift. We didn't really have to worry during this game, which it's felt like a long time since we've had that. Normally at the end or at the beginning, I'm sweating these games out. This one, it was smooth sailing for pretty much the entire time.
Yeah. I know some people are asking about Lawrence Keys and Jaquan Jackson. I would say Lawrence Keys is probably not going to play if I had to guess. This is just speculation. And then Jaquan Jackson, I think, is a little bit closer. But you'll keep Brown should get more of a workload. I think Bryce Bohannon's done really well, as Evan mentioned, sliding into that slot spot. And then, of course, we've got the boy Brazel running things at the X receiver. So, we are a little bit shorthanded at wide receiver, but I think we've got some good options still got some firepower. Our opponent, Reed, has got a lot of firepower.
Yeah, that's right, Jack. You ready to move on to the UTSA preview?
Yeah, let's do it, Reed.
All right, let's go right into it. Burner, burr, burr.
All right, Reed. This is just like we said, right? Coming into this week of the season, our expectation was for Tulane to be playing for a conference title. What are we doing, Reed?
Yeah, this is exactly where I wanted us to be, not only with a chance to play for it, but a chance to host it. However, UTSA, I think the first few weeks we were kind of thinking that UTSA might not be the team that they were projected to be. They were projected to finish second in the American Athletic Conference, and they started off slow. However, they have really turned it up. They've won, let me count here real quick.
7?
Yeah, UTSA has won 7 games in a row after, a couple of tough games. Tennessee and Houston, I can understand a loss, but Army can't really be doing that. They have bounced back. They are extremely hot. And Frank Harris last game in his senior send-off, he went ballistic.
Yeah, over 400 passing yards, 100 receiving yards. I'm sure y'all have heard a lot about Frank Harris all season long. A lot of people think or thought preseason he might be the best quarterback in the American Conference. Of course, we know that's not true, but he is very talented. He has over 11,000 career passing yards and 2,000 career rushing yards. He has 91 passing touchdowns and 29 rushing touchdowns. So for all the records that Michael Pratt is breaking in Tulane history right now, Frank Harris would be the record holder in all of those categories. Just to put into perspective what he's done. I know he has been in college for 7 years, and that is a big asterisk. But he's still getting it done. And yeah, so I think this is a different type of quarterback than Tulane has played the last few weeks, Reed. In the limited sample size we saw, I think Braylon Braxton, my favorite quarterback, is probably the best comparison to how Frank Harris plays, except Harris has a much better arm than Braxton does.
Yeah, he's definitely the number one guy to shut down. It's not easy. We had a lot of trouble with John Rice Plumlee last year in a game similar to this, where there's a lot on the line in the regular season. So it's definitely a tall task, but he's not their only weapon. Kavarian Barnes is also a pretty solid running back. Gonna have to shut down the run game. If you can shut down at least one aspect of that offense, you force him into something else, and then you know what's coming. Another guy is Joshua Cephas. He already has 76 catches, so not quite on the level as the FAU receiver, but he has about 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. So he's another guy to definitely look out for.
Yeah, Joshua Cephas is getting a lot of hype as a future NFL prospect. He's really the leader in the receiving room. But a guy that is crucial for UTSA's success and really what sets this UTSA team apart from prior UTSA teams is the dominance of Trey Moore on the defensive line. He really sort of plays as more of an outside linebacker. kind of more than like a down defensive end, but he rushes the passer a ton and he leads the entire country in sacks. He has 14 sacks. They line him up all over the place. They're going to find a matchup they like, and they're going to let Trey Moore just go after Michael Pratt. That is going to be a crucial matchup. We could maybe see Rashad Green back this week, but Cam Wire on the other side is going to have a lot of work to do to try and stop Trey Moore.
Yeah, definitely, especially with our banged up line. Protecting Pratt, I've always thought, if you give Pratt time, he's going to be successful. Whether it's scrambling, whether it's extending a play, or just finding the open receiver right away, give Pratt a chance. I think Tulane has a really good opportunity to play a great game and score enough points to win the game. Obviously, UTSA, where they talked about it, on offense, they're going to score. We're not going to be able to stop them every time. Frank Harris is extremely talented. It's going to be tough, but Tulane is a very talented team. I would say more talented. What are your keys to this game, Jack?
Yeah, I think UTSA does a lot of things well that Tulane does well. So my main key to the game is going to be like, just be better at what we do well. We have to win the quarterback battle. Michael Pratt can't throw any interceptions. He's got to play up to his full potential. We've got to dominate the trenches on the defensive line and in the offensive line. They have a stud pass rusher, but we have a few stud pass rushers too. They have a really solid offensive line, but we have a really solid offensive line too. So, I think that's my main key is just execute at a top level. It kind of sounds like a cop out, right? Like just play well, but on paper, where the matchups are really even, we have to be better.
I agree. I think that's a really good point. And even if it does sound cliche, I think Tulane's talent is better than UTSA. So I like that a lot. The one that we already mentioned is protect Pratt, allow him to make the correct decision, and he will. Then the last thing is, I think our defense really needs to step up. And it's not necessarily shutting out UTSA, but making timely stops. I think our defense is light years ahead of UTSA's defense, regardless of how good they are. Our potential is way higher. So I think if we hold UTSA under 20 points, there's no way that we lose this game.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. Holding UTSA to under 20 points would be a huge achievement. They do have a top 30 offense, and they have about, I think it's the 55th best defense in the country. So a fairly well-rounded team, but it's not like they're, world beaters on either side of the ball. So it's probably the second best offense we've played. I would probably give it maybe the third best defense we played. I would put Ole Miss, maybe fourth. Ole Miss, South Al, and I think maybe a sneaky one is ECU's defense. They've got a pretty solid defense despite their poor record. Other than those three teams, this is going to be the best defense we've played.
I agree. Jack, before we move on from the UTSA preview, what is your score prediction for this game?
I think this is going to be one of those classic, big game, kind of high tension under hits. So I think that I saw the over under was at 56. I think the final score is going to be, well, actually, wait, hold on. Last week, I said Tulane was going to score 70 points and win by 20, right? And that worked. So I think the final score is going to be Tulane 72 to UTSA 14.
I like it, Jack. Whatever kind of magic your predictions do, I'm down for. So predict whatever you have to. I think Tulane with our crowd, and not necessarily from the student section, I expect them to show out really well. I know it's a tough week with Thanksgiving. It'll be hard to get people in the seats. But I think the city of New Orleans, I've seen a lot of hype on Twitter. I think they are going to rally behind this team, and Tulane's going to get a win. I think Tulane scores 28, and I'm going to give UTSA 13. I think Tulane gets it done.
All right, before we move on to Q&A section, I want to welcome on our boy here, iPop Stats, for a little bit of a stats report. iPop, you're really popular in the chat here. Everyone wants to hear your input.
Really? Well, I'm excited to join the podcast.
Yeah, Isaac, it's always a pleasure. You're a fan favorite. You provide the greatest insight. Let me look in the chat real quick and see what kind of questions we got for you. Anybody have any questions for Isaac? Let's see.
Or do you want to start with some key stats from FAU, Isaac?
Okay, yeah.
Sure. Well, we have to start with Michael Pratt, right? He's
Yeah, of course.
now the yards king at Tulane, all-time leader in career passing yards at Tulane. We already knew he became the touchdown king this season, having Sean King move over. This time it's Patrick Ramsey for passing yards. He's first in all-time passing yards, total touchdowns, passing touchdowns, completion percentage, efficiency. What can't he do? He's second in yards per attempt all-time, third in completions. Especially exciting for him to do it in front of his family and friends back in Boca Raton. Darius the Jet Hodges, who I had the pleasure of interviewing this morning, had a massive game himself on the other side of the ball. He's the first Tulane player with 2 multi-sack road games in the 21st century. I'm still working on figuring out when the last time, if there has been another time that a Tulane player has had multiple games on the road where they have 2 or more sacks in a game. So that's very exciting. Darius is actually one of just 10 players to do that this season in all of college football. The other players, a lot of them aren't at big schools. Some of them are, but I'll give you the schools where the other players played that have multi-sack road games this season. 2 multi-sack road games this season: Colorado State, Houston, Illinois, Jacksonville State, Tulane with Hodges, Louisiana Monroe, Troy, Appalachian State, James Madison, and University of Louisiana. So I'd have to look at the strength of schedule, but Tulane, Darius Hodges would have one of the best strength of schedules, most likely, to be able to do those 2 multi-sack road games this season. Very impressive. Also of note, only 3 other players out of those 10, including Hodges, have won both of the games that they had multiple sacks in. So Tulane is winning when Darius Hodges has multiple sacks. That's very exciting for Tulane. Chris Brazel, our guy on the podcast, was the first Tulane player with multiple 100-yard road games, as he made it over 100 yards with a career high 103 receiving yards and a career high 7 catches as well. The last Tulane player to have multiple 100-yard road games was Ryan Grant in 2012. As many of you know, Ryan Grant played 6 seasons in the NFL and started 26 games. And another stat, kind of miscellaneous, but the exciting one to share is the last season Tulane had both a kick return and a punt return touchdown was 2002. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but when Lanaris Elfiage, a defensive back, had one of each. And they also had a similar play to Shaquem Laster's punt return touchdown, where Gerald Braby had a 21-yard punt return touchdown. So it's been over 20 years since Tulane's had a season with both a kick return and a punt return touchdown. Very impressive. Another outside look at Tulane right now. 3rd longest road streak in the country. For a second, we had the 2nd longest road streak in the country. We were tied with Michigan while they were still playing with Maryland, but eventually they did hold on in a tight one. So we're back to having the 3rd longest road win streak in the country, only behind Georgia and Michigan. Very impressive. And we have the 3rd most wins in the country in the last 2 years. Willie Fritz being the first Tulane coach to have consecutive double-digit win seasons. It's a good time to be a Tulane fan.
It definitely is a good time to be a Tulane fan, Isaac. It feels like Jack and I went through 2 or 3 years of difficulties, or more than that, started in 2016, so 5 or 6. But some of the other fans out here, they've been through it for a long time. It feels good to be back on top for Tulane, and we always appreciate your stats and all the hard work that you do, Isaac.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's crazy, Isaac, our entire coverage on the Uptown Update has been the Michael Pratt era. So the Uptown Update is pretty recent, and it's been awesome to hear some of these like records broken that you're providing. It's an awesome time to be a Tulane fan.
It's pretty much all I know. Me and Pratt both came in as freshmen the same time. Sion James as well, and Sion James came in as a freshman when Kevin Cross and Jalen Forbes transferred in. So the whole Kevin Cross Forbes and Sion era has overlapped with the Michael Pratt era completely, which thankfully has been my 4 years at Tulane.
That's awesome. Jack, if you're ready, do you want to move on to the Q&A and new athletic director announcement? And Isaac, if you want to stick around and help us out with this, that would be awesome.
Sure.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, sweet. So first we put a poll up in the chat. You said, are you excited about the new athletic director hire? Mr. David Harris, the former athletic director for University of Northern Iowa, the same school that Troy Dannon came from before was Tulane's athletic director. And 86% of you said yes. 14% of you said no, you're not excited for it. And yeah, this is a huge hire, Reed. This is probably the most high stakes hire in Tulane history, right? I mean, with the way that college football and college sports in general are changing, we need a guy who's going to guide Tulane to where we need to go.
Yeah, we're going to look back at this at some point and say this was a turning point. You know, I saw a lot of hate on Twitter initially for David Harris, but hey, for me, the job that Troy Dannon did was fantastic. Regardless of what you think of him now, it was incredible. David Harris is coming from the exact same school. I just think you have to give him a chance, and he has a lot of accolades. He's done a lot of great things. So I'm excited to see what he can accomplish with this up and coming Tulane athletic program.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I think a few things about David Harris. Sorry, I know we just said we're going to do Q&A and then we're talking about the athletic director. But a few things about David Harris is in 2019 he was appointed to the NCAA Division I Council. So basically, that's the group that makes the rules for the NCAA, and he is on the committee with a bunch of different high-profile athletic directors from all the different conferences. So he's got great connections from that council and has experience navigating the complicated inner workings of the NCAA. Additionally, you and I went through this like huge period of fundraising the last few years, and they built a whole bunch of new facilities on their campus for their athletic programs. So you got to think in the interviews, if you're on the board of trustees for Tulane, you're saying, okay, we need to get into a Power 5 conference, right? That's our number one priority. And we need to improve our facilities to make sure that we stay a top program in Louisiana and especially in the country. So a huge part of that is getting into a power conference, that's the networking, and fundraising for the facilities, right? So that's probably point one and point two. Additionally, he's worked for some Power 5 programs in the past, like Morgan pointed out. He worked for Wisconsin. He worked for Ole Miss. He worked for one other one. Didn't write down in my notes, and I forgot what it was. It might be Iowa State. So, you know, he's got that experience. We'll see. I saw someone else ask, what are the odds of getting into the ACC? David mentioned he wants to get into the ACC. And I think, honestly, the odds are pretty good. I just hope that David Harris knows the right people and can help us get into the ACC, because it's going to take, you know, some dominoes falling. It's not just going to be like, here's our application, please accept us. I think a few teams are going to have to leave.
Something I like about joining the ACC is a lot of Tulane students come from the East Coast, specifically Miami in the South, and then New York, New Jersey, Boston on the Northeast. And there are a bunch of ACC schools in that area, Boston College in BC, couple Florida schools with Miami, FSU down there. So the alumni base might be able to show up to a bunch of games if Tulane moves to ACC.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and the biggest goal is getting into a power conference. So the ACC, who knows in the next few years if they're even going to be a quote power conference. It's like Jack said, knowing the right people, knowing what conferences are going to be the big time, what conferences are going to get automatic bids in the playoffs. You know, in college basketball, it matters a lot if you're a quote mid-major versus whatever they call it now, a power conference. So, and even in baseball, we need to improve in baseball. That's probably Troy Dannon's biggest weakness, especially with Tulane's historical success. But at this point,
Troy Dannon take away baseball at UNI, where Harris is coming from now.
That's a good. Yeah.
Not a
So
baseball fan, Mr. Dannon.
They never
yeah,
brought it back after Dan, right?
Yeah.
maybe Washington will get rid of it soon. I would not be opposed to that. That'd be pretty funny. But
Well,
I mean, the goal going forwards is join the power conference, get in tight with the big boys, make a lot of money, and get really good at sports. I think most people listening now and all of us in this Zoom call definitely want that to happen.
I like
on
that
the
plan, Reed.
On the ACC, I saw a good comment from Morgan Fost. ACC has a lot of private academic schools that fits Tulane's academic profile. I do really like this from an academic perspective. I know that's something that we've liked in the American Conference is that Tulane's a serious academic institution, and the ACC has a lot of those schools, Duke, UNC, Chapel Hill. I mean, plenty of great schools, Boston College. So I mean, the list goes on, Wake Forest. So if we could join that group, I do think that would be great academically and just be a great fit academically and culturally.
Yeah, I agree. The ACC is definitely the best fit, like by far out of all the Power Five conferences. The issue is I don't want a repeat of Tulane leaving the SEC if we get offered to a conference like the SEC because we don't want to be a party school. We can do both, like I don't know, like Duke or something like that. They can party. I don't know any better examples of a
FSU, I
school.
think, has done that pretty well.
Yeah. But the ACC, I agree, Isaac. It's definitely the best fit academically and at this point, athletically.
Definitely. Getting on to a few of those questions in the chat. So there's been a few questions by David and some others about the UTSA matchup specifically relating to will Tulane put a spy on the quarterback and what's the scariest part of the UTSA offense? I would say those two questions are definitely related, right? You don't want to play really good defense and then have Frank Harris run for 40 yards down the field and score a touchdown with his legs. So I would say that's the scariest part of their offense. And I would definitely expect maybe not a true spy, but for Tulane to play a lot of zone coverage to help kind of limit Frank Harris's legs. Because when you play man coverage, right, your back is turned to the quarterback when you're running with a receiver or a tight end. You're not, you don't know if the quarterback's running around or escape the pocket or whatever. You're just focused on marking your guy. When you're playing zone coverage, you're looking at the quarterback. You're looking at, okay, which guys come into my zone and how do I have to defend him? But you're also paying attention to where the quarterback is. So especially the linebackers, the slot corners, all the shallow zones, I would expect kind of at least a hybrid, if not a true QB spy in that regard. And then another question related to the matchup from Jennifer Britt. What's up, Jen? Is Michael Pratt 100%? And I would say no, but that doesn't mean much because I don't think he's been 100% since the first play of the season and the first play of the season before that. The dude loves to play hurt. I don't know why he takes so much contact, but he seems to like it.
Yeah, Michael Pratt definitely craves contact. And I want to go back to your spy question. I think we should really depend on our defensive line, at least in the beginning, to contain Harris and allow our secondary to do their job. I know we've had some trouble in the past with some of those underneath routes and then some yards after catch. So I think if our defensive line can contain Harris, that would be the best solution. It might not go that way, and we might have to make some adjustments.
Yeah. And then Nick asked, what matchup are you looking for the most? I want to see UTSA's third down conversion versus Tulane's third down defense. These are the money downs, right? These are how you win games, getting off the field on third down, forcing other team to punt. And this is something that we've struggled with in recent weeks, but we were really, really good at earlier in the season, and especially last season. We were one of the best third down defenses in the country. So yeah, that's a great matchup. I would say one that I'm looking forward to is Joshua Cephas versus Jarius Monroe. I think both guys are really talented, future NFL players. And if Joshua Cephas can win some one-on-one matchups on the outside versus Jarius Monroe, UTSA will definitely be able to move the ball. But if we can do an effective job limiting the big plays over the top and keeping everything in front of us, kind of like what we did with LeJontay Wester, I think Tulane's got a really, really good shot in this one.
Isaac, I see a question for you in the chat. This comes from Jack. What do you think about the college football playoff ranking for Tulane?
Yeah, I was watching the show at 6 o'clock today. Pretty disappointed Tulane didn't move up more. I'm very baffled at what's going on with Tennessee this year. We talked a little bit earlier about before the show about Tennessee. I mean, they have 4 losses. The preseason rankings seem to have a lot to do with the rankings this year and every year too, but they got absolutely whooped by Mizzou a couple weeks ago, lost big to Georgia. They lost early to Florida, Bama as well. I don't really understand why they're ranked ahead of Tulane. A lot of the analytics models actually like Tulane, even though they're winning in a lot of close games. Their average position is around 15, 16, 17 in most of these computer rankings, which would have been the tiebreaker if Tulane was not ranked in the college football playoff this week and there was a tiebreaker for the American Athletic Conference championship game, then we would have gone to these computer rankings. So they do have some validity, and those rank Tulane higher than both the AP poll and the college football playoff ranking. The college football playoff ranking is much more important than the AP poll, where Tulane is higher at the moment than the current spot of 23. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, the playoff rankings. I saw a graphic earlier about how lower ranked teams have beat higher ranked teams and how the playoff committee just messes it up every time. It's very political. It's about who you know and what you know. But we've said it 100 times. Tulane, you go 1-0, doesn't matter, and take care of business against UTSA. So I'm looking forward to that.
Another team I don't like ahead of us is Kansas State. They're 8-3. We're 10-1, and we beat them last year in Manhattan.
Yeah, I mean, I get the record point. Like a team with 3 or 4 losses compared to a team with 1 loss. Yeah, you could argue about the quality of the loss or the quality of the win, etc. But like the cliche is you are what your record says you are, right? So I mean, I don't know about last year's game. It's different teams, different players, etc. But it, yeah, I agree. A lot of the Big 12 teams, I think, are ranked pretty highly to give some of the other Big 12 teams a resume boost. That's always what it is. It's like, it's just kind of a snowball effect. Oh, you beat this team. Well, you also rank the team that you're saying is a good win. Oh, what's up, dog? uh, yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't really put much stake into the number 23 as far as I'm concerned, right? We're the highest ranked group of 5 team. That's what matters. So, we're gonna get the same bowl game if we're ranked 5, and then if we're ranked 23 as the highest group of 5 team.
If we win the next 2 games, that's correct. I am a little bit scared of Liberty being ranked, though. They're now another group of 5 team that's ranked at number 25. They're undefeated. So if Tulane does slip up, there is a slight possibility that Liberty could pass Tulane, although I really can't see that happening. I do think that if Tulane goes 1-0 just 2 more times, then we'll be in the Peach Bowl, would be my prediction. Definitely a New Year's Six. And my prediction would be in line with the ESPN predictions right now, would be Tulane, Mizzou in the Peach Bowl. If Tulane wins the next 2 and Mizzou wins the next 1, because they will not be in a conference championship in the SEC, same division as Georgia. So they only have to win 1 more game to get to the New Year's Six if they can stay where they are in the rankings. They're currently number 9. Some other teams will fall out. So if they win 1 more game, they should be in the New Year's Six.
Yeah, there's a lot of intriguing options out there. Mizzou, I've seen Penn State, I've seen Alabama, I've seen Texas. But as far as I'm concerned, there's only 1 game left on the schedule, right? We got to beat UTSA on Friday. Want to know mindset.
All right.
Oh, go ahead, Reed.
I was going to ask any other questions in here, or we can wrap up the Q&A.
Yeah, I saw some other ones. Let's see. Well, a lot of these are about the New Year's Six Bowl. We kind of just talked about that.
Taylor Spears said, is there any possible timeline where Tulane plays Clemson in a bowl game? There is a timeline, but it's definitely not this year. Clemson just simply isn't good enough to make a New Year's Six Bowl. But thanks for your question. Appreciate it.
I saw one question about Alabama. Isaac was asking the odds we play Bama in the New Year's Six if we make it. I think it's definitely a possibility. I think Mizzou's a little bit more likely, but if Alabama loses to Georgia in the SEC championship, because that game's already decided for December 2nd. And unfortunately, I hope this doesn't happen, but if Tulane does lose next week, this Friday, or potentially next Saturday if they lose this Friday, I think we could face Alabama in the Birmingham Bowl. That was something that was predicted early on when Tulane was not necessarily the favorite for the New Year's Six at one point. And if unfortunately we do drop out, I think Alabama could be there if they fall to 11-2.
I haven't seen that, but look, if Tulane were to lose a game, that would be the dream scenario. That'd be very funny. So I am 100% down for
The
that.
Birmingham Bowl, that would be crazy.
If we do lose, I would like that a little bit better than the Fenway Bowl. Although I'm from Fenway and my friends back in Boston that go to Tulane are hoping to be able to dress up in lots of coats and hats for a football game in December. That's not something I want to do.
Yeah. I got a question here from Morgan. Jack, I'm going to address this to you. Are you worried about our secondary at all?
I am actually pleasantly surprised by our secondary this year. That was one of my biggest concerns coming into the game or coming into the season. But Jarius and Lance have admitted themselves pretty well, I think, on the outside. I think Cam Pettisclo has been a phenomenal player in the safety slot corner position. And a guy who's come on recently is Kentrell Webb. I think he's a redshirt freshman or a redshirt sophomore.
He still has 3 years of eligibility.
Yeah, so I think he counts technically as a redshirt freshman, and he's been playing a lot more recently. I think, especially after the whole AJ Hampton debacle versus
Yes.
what was it, UNT?
On homecoming.
Yeah, on homecoming. So yeah, Kentrell Webb's been pretty good. I think we've got some good players. What's up?
Webb had 5 first half tackles last game. He was leading the wave in the first half. I was very surprised to see that.
Yeah. Jack, I actually like that take a lot because right now I am worried about our secondary. Based off of Morgan's comment, I kind of agree with him. But looking back at the beginning of the season, our secondary was our biggest worry, and given Shale Woods a lot more aggressive play style. It's not the same as Hampton. Hampton was a lot of drop back, let everything come underneath, and bend, don't break. Shale Woods' play style has always been, go for the big play. And I think, I haven't looked. I'd have to get some help from Isaac here, but I feel like we've created more turnovers this year, specifically from that defense. And while we have gotten beat, I agree. I think we're in an okay spot with how we play defense, specifically in the secondary.
Yeah, and one of our most improved players at the beginning of the season was Bailey Despain, right? He made so many big plays. A guy that played a lot last year but never started a game. He's been really solid, like the chat saying. And DJ Douglas, of course, has had a few pretty crucial interceptions down the stretch. So, yes, it's definitely not the strength of our team. I agree with the question, but compared to where we expected the secondary to be and how much of a weakness we thought this could be, losing our 3 main guys in the secondary from last year, I'm not as concerned as I initially was.
The secondary was my biggest concern coming into the season. I've been very impressed. Jarius Monroe is going to be playing on Sundays. Lance Robinson has 4 picks this season. And DJ Douglas is one of the players who I would say has had the most underrated season on Tulane this year. I would throw a couple players into that category, probably throw Shadre Hurst into that category. I think he's filled in admirably on the offensive line. Some of the linebackers have done a great job as well. Patrick Jenkins, clearly underrated. He's getting double teamed every week. But DJ Douglas has been awesome. We're not letting up any big plays. We've let up 0, 40 or longer yard rushing plays this season. That's tied for first in the nation, of course. And we also haven't let up a single 60-yard play from scrimmage, tied for first in the nation, of course, as well. But we're tied for third with only 1 30-plus yard rushing play allowed, and we're tied for 4th in FBS with 20-plus yard rushing plays allowed, only giving up 5 of those. So the entire defense has been stellar as a unit.
Yeah, it's definitely good stuff. And I'm looking now, Evan's talking about how the defense has to work together. And I agree how when the defensive line gets pressure, it makes it a lot easier on the secondary. It's a really fine line to draw. And I don't know. The one positive I can take from it is that our defense can play better. There's room to improve. I mean, what week did we play UCF last year in the regular season?
I think it's like week 10,
Week 10.
maybe week, yeah, 10 or 9.
All right, yeah. So I mean, at that point, we clearly were not the same team as in the Cotton Bowl. Um, this week against FAU, it felt like we turned a corner, and it feels like we can get even better next week against UTSA. So I don't know. There's been a lot of complaints about this Tulane football team this year, but we're in a great spot. You couldn't really ask for much more. Sure, ask for a win against Ole Miss, but we're 10-1.
Yep. As David mentioned, Shieldwood actually played against UTSA in a bowl game last year and had a phenomenal game. I think they really shut down the Roadrunners in that performance. And one other thing I'd like to add that I know it kind of gets lost, right, when you talk about like the X's and the O's, but you got to talk about the mental aspect of the game. Tulane has been playing this entire season with a target on their back, right? They have been the hunted all season long because everybody knows that that's a team to beat. It's hard to get up and play a 1-7 East Carolina team in Greenville when you know you can play bad and still win. It's hard to get up and go to Houston and beat Rice and like play dominant against Rice because they're Rice, like, are they really that much of a threat? But this game is one that they've had circled all year long. This is the make or break game of the season, right? Do you make the conference championship? Do you not? And the boys are absolutely going to get up for it. If you think back the last few years about the big games on the calendar that you've got circled at the start of the preseason, right? Like, they always play well in those games. They don't come out and lay a goose and aren't focused and stuff in these big games. I guess maybe Ole Miss, that first drive was a little worrying, but after that they played lights out, right? So I think Tulane's gonna be ready to go. I think the Green Wave is gonna be rolling on Friday at 2:30 in Yeoman Stadium.
I agree, Jack. It should be a great matchup. Thank you all so much for participating in the Q&A. Are you ready to move on to the Uptown update game slate?
Yes, Reed, I am. But real quick, before we move on to the game slate, I want to go over real quick the conference championship scenarios. So I think this is 100% accurate. Tulane will win or will get in the conference championship and host it with a win. Tulane will also get in with an SMU loss. With a Tulane loss and SMU win, Tulane is eliminated. That is the only scenario where Tulane is eliminated from the conference championship game. With a Tulane loss and a Navy win over SMU, UTSA will host Tulane in the conference championship game in San Antonio. Okay. Any questions? Cool. I think we're ready, Reed.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause the recording. Let's pick out some games here.
Yeah. What are y'all watching in the chat this week? What games do you have circled?
Well, Ohio State, Michigan,
Yeah.
3.5. Let me write it down.
Memphis Navy?
What's the spread?
Or SMU Navy?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
what I meant.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like second straight week, all the games I care about are 11 a.m. Tulane game, the SMU game, and then last week it was the Maryland Michigan game, and this week it's Ohio State Michigan. So Michigan, SMU, and Tulane have
Oh, we could do the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Yeah.
That one's fun. You don't want to do that?
No. If we do the Egg Bowl, then we have to do the Iron Bowl.
Oh, the Iron Bowl for sure. Yeah.
But that's also a disgusting spread.
Wait, we're still
Yeah.
live on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still live on YouTube.
All right,
Just
cool.
the recording's paused. This is the behind the scenes for those of you who were asking earlier.
I'm reading through some of the comments. We got some funny comments in the chat.
Yeah.
UNC, NC State is 2.5, and NC State's ranked one spot ahead of us.
I'll try to hit on a couple questions quick. Carter was asking about the student section. Hopefully this is full with high school students. Would love to see a packed student section, even though most of our out-of-state students are not going to be back yet from Thanksgiving, which makes sense.
Are we gonna serve the high schoolers beer?
I don't think
$2
so. I think
beers.
only 21 years and older. But I know I'm here. I know a couple other students are here. So even if there's not many, there definitely will be a crowd. Someone asked about Sincere making to the Senior Bowl. I would be shocked if Sincere does not get an invite to the Senior Bowl.
I agree.
I believe Pro Football Focus said he was ranked 3rd among centers in the country. I could be wrong about that.
The only thing is he's kind of small. Like he's super productive, but he doesn't have like prototypical NFL size. So I think it might be like a Nick Anderson situation.
Potentially. I mean, he's definitely earned his Senior Bowl invite, though.
Yeah. I mean, he's been one of the best centers in the country for like 3 years. I don't know what else you have to do, but.
All right. I got 2 games. I got Ohio State, Michigan. I got Florida State, Florida.
What about UConn, UMass?
No, I don't hate the someone said Rice USF winner gets into a bowl game. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I don't think they play each other.
Let me look. No, it's Rice FAU.
Yeah.
Does the winner of that get in a bowl game?
Rice
FAU
will, FAU doesn't.
Yeah. But they both USF and Rice are 5 and 6, so they could make a bowl game with wins. Yeah, JMU versus Postal, that one looked good.
UAB, UNT, they're both 4 and 7. Winner almost gets into a bowl game.
Virginia Tech, those dudes are also both bad, but a rivalry game.
Louisville, Kentucky isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's only 7-point spread.
I kind of like UConn versus UMass, even though they're both terrible. It's
What's
a
the
1.5 point spread.
What is it?
1.5.
I like it.
UConn's favored as a visitor.
Independent.
If this person's still here, I do like Keith Brown this week. The person who asked about that is in the chat.
Someone's asking about the Uptown Update tailgate that we had for the Cotton Bowl. I will do my best to make that happen if Tulane does their best to make that happen.
I'm going to the bowl game no matter what. I'll be there. I'll throw a tailgate with a 24 pack of Natural Light.
In Birmingham against Alabama?
Yes, I will definitely be there. Idaho Potato Bowl might be a little bit tougher, but I will go to the Hawaii Bowl.
In Mekhi Hughes pass blocking we trust. I like that comment. Interesting because Mekhi Hughes was the one who actually missed the block that got Pratt originally injured. He didn't come out of the game and got hurt later on, but he was hobbling a little bit after Mekhi Hughes missed block. Since then, I feel like Mekhi Hughes has been a great pass blocker. I mean, his is his freshman year. He didn't play last year with the ACL injury, so hard to hold him super accountable for just one mistake, especially when he's rushing the ball so well. And Fritz showed that. He benched all the other running backs for their fumbles, and we didn't see much of Mekhi after that block, but he did come back a little bit later in that game and has been the guy.
I got 3 games, Jack. Also, we'll hang out after recording for a while if y'all want to hang out. Maybe we'll send the Zoom link. If anyone's get on the Zoom
and talk to everyone.
Yeah.
I'd be available for that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do our picks and then we'll get on with it.
All right. You ready, Jack?
Let's do it.
All right, Jack, it is time again for the Uptown Update game slate. Remember to join in on Twitter with our Google Forms, and you have a chance to win a 1-of-1 signed Tulane football card. Jack, the first game of the week, it's a very important game. It feels like it's huge every single year for the past, 10 years. Ohio State is at the University of Michigan. The Cheaters, Michigan is -3.5.
This is going to be my second favorite Big Ten game to watch this week, Reed. I can't wait for Iowa, Nebraska with an over-under of 26 and a half points. But joking aside, yeah, of course, it's at the Big House this year. I think that's a huge advantage for Michigan. Um, Gosh, I don't know, Reed. I think Ohio State's been clamoring for Marvin Harrison to get more Heisman respect. And like, this is the scenario for that to happen. I've been sticking with the Buckeyes all year long with the simple rationale of these are just the games that Ohio State wins, you know? I know Michigan's on a 2-year winning streak and it's in Michigan. Everything's pointing to the Wolverines, but I'm going to buck the trend and go with the Buckeyes at +3.
I like it. 3.5 feels like a lot of points. But like you said, Michigan's won 2 years in a row, and they probably have not been more motivated than this year with all the scandals going on. So I'm going to go with Michigan in this one, despite Marvin Harrison's incredible season so far. The next game I have for you, Jack, this one I know everyone's going to be watching, at least the sickos. UConn is -2.5 at UMass.
It's a very special matchup on ESPN Plus for the whole country to see. UConn is a road favorite, -1.5. So I'm going to go at the home dog, the UMass Minutemen. They're 3-8. They could win 4 games this year, Reed. Let's see. How many of those were against FBS teams? They beat New Mexico State, Army. Okay, they have 2 wins against FBS teams. I think they're going to make it 3.
I couldn't agree more. Keep in mind, New Mexico State is coming off a huge win against Auburn. So basically, UMass is better than Auburn. I also like UMass mainly because I don't like UConn and their fans back from their American Athletic Conference days. Talking about how they didn't want to travel to Tulsa. Who wouldn't want to go to Tulsa, Oklahoma? What a great place to be. So give me UMass. The last game, Jack, this is a surprise. I did not tell you about this one. We got UTSA at Tulane. Tulane is -3. Winner will go to the American Athletic Conference Championship.
Yeah, I mean, how in the world am I going to pick against the Green Wave, right? In their biggest game of the season so far. Yeah, I think it's a friendly line for Tulane, -3, right? You only need a game-winning field goal to cover. If you're a betting man, I like that. 3 points is what they give the home team, you know? Otherwise, they say it's a toss-up. So the odds makers don't really know what to make of this matchup. I think it's more of a pick-up, 2 evenly matched teams. I think if we get a motivated Tulane, I think they could really run away with this one. I'm thinking of that Memphis game, Reed, where it was a close spread, but Tulane came out and really played fundamentally sound complementary football.
Yeah, Tulane all year long. Vegas has loved them. You know, Tulane's had these huge spreads, and Tulane is not covered until last week. Tulane did cover. And I think that Vegas, like you said, they don't know what to do. At home or regardless, I will never pick against Tulane. UTSA, despite their huge winning streak and their incredible quarterback, Frank Harris, I think Tulane gets it done. 3 points is not enough. I said earlier, Tulane's going to get a big win. It's going to happen. So I'm excited for this one. Tulane should get the win. Jack, for my super doc, before I get there, I have to shout out Isaac. He gave us a quick stat here. It's been 5 years since UMass had multiple wins in a season, which that's pretty sad, but I guess we made some good picks on that. He also said first time in 6 years UMass had a win against an FBS team that went 500 or better in the previous season. So iPop stats always coming up clutch. Regardless, my super dog pick for this week, I love Houston over UCF. UCF fans, they talk and talk and talk. I really hope that they lose this game so they have to play USF in a bowl game and USF spanks them. Give me Houston.
I like it, Reed. I'm going to go with the team that I think might be the most overrated in the entire country. I'm going to pick against that team. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are 17-point favorites versus BYU. I know BYU hasn't really been getting it done recently. 4 straight losses to Texas, West Virginia, Iowa State, and Oklahoma. But I think the Cougars get one back to reach a bowl. And then Oklahoma State makes it 3 losses to pretty subpar teams.
I like it, Jack. You've been hitting your super dogs, or at least been pretty close all year long. We're near the end of the season. Tulane, one more regular season game left. Win, you're in the American Conference Championship. UTSA is a very talented team. I cannot wait to watch this game on Friday. I'm gonna be a nervous wreck, but I have faith in Tulane and Willie Fritz.
Yeah, let's go. Come on. This is what we've been waiting for. These are the games that you get excited about, right? Black Friday, prime time, or like prime TV station, at least on ABC, the country watching. Roll wave. Come on.
Roll wave. All right. Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right. If y'all are down, we're down to hang around and just talk ball. It's our kind of favorite thing to do. That's why we started this podcast. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe do we just share the Zoom link and then people
Yeah.
can hop on? We can
Share the
we can
Zoom
talk.
link. We
All right.
we only have all the 12 diehard fans. If you're in here, you're a diehard
Should we
fan.
end the
Yeah.
YouTube and then just do Zoom?
Or yeah, I think maybe DM us if you want to join the Zoom, and then we can send you the link. Does that work?
Yeah, that's probably better so we don't get any spam.
Yeah. Yeah, DM us on Twitter, and then follow us if you don't follow us. You probably do since there's 11 of you in here. But yeah, at Uptown Update, and we'll send you the link.
Yeah.
Just be
And
like, hey, I want to join.
I apologize in advance if I cut any questions from someone, but we recorded for like an hour, so we got to cut it down to like 30 minutes.
We can do a longer one, probably.
That was
Yeah.
an hour? Oh my god.
Yeah, well, we started at 9:30. I mean, we talked a little bit at the beginning.
David
Yeah.
Wentz says, first I want to thank y'all for doing this. This is really cool to be able to interact with the hosts.
David,
thanks
thank you.
for joining.
Morgan Foss says, gotta hit the hay, but great show, y'all.
Morgan, you're the man. Appreciate you. Yeah, if y'all want us to do this more often, we definitely can. I think for a bowl game, I'd love to, or even a Twitter space or YouTube, either one would be really cool.
Yeah, our first live show. It's pretty cool. I don't know. I feel like this is a good time to get some live feedback, I guess. What do y'all want to see on the podcast? Like, what can we do?
Oh, I have a question. Do you guys like the Uptown Update game slate? We had cards to give away, so we were looking for a way to do it, and we felt like it was a good way, but it kind of sticks out. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We definitely had higher participation in that early on in the season that we do towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Morgan Foss says, hope we can say hi in person New Year's 6. Hopefully we're there.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Green Wave Man's a big fan, as always. We're big fans of him.
Green Wave Man also loves the Uptown Update game slate.
Green Wave Man,
He won.
He did
your
win.
content and you got us retweeted by Big Cat a couple times.
Yeah.
And Isaac's
That was
interviews.
That was huge. I think that was our most interacted with post ever. I think it
Yeah.
had almost
seen
like
like half a
5
million
million
times.
impressions or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
It was right before I went on the field too for homecoming. I was nuts.
It was awesome.
And then I told all the other kids that Big Cat just quote tweeted me, and they were like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. No big deal. We're going on the field in Yeoman, but
Very cool.
UTSA plays closer to a 3-4, David. It's not exactly yes, that is a 3-4 defense, but they have like their best edge rusher, Trey Moore, like we were talking about. He's an outside linebacker by trade. He's so he kind of just lines up wherever he wants and rushes the passer. All right. Welcome Nick to the Zoom. And Evan, I'll send you the link.
did I talk about Shedro?
I don't think so.
Huh.
What's up, Nick?
Yo,
What's up, Nick?
hello, not much, gentlemen. Wonderful podcast.
Appreciate it. Thank you for listening. You're one of the original, I'll say 12 listening to the live episode.
It's always, listen, I'll take what I can get right now. I'm getting through law school right now. I got finals in next Friday. I need a little reprieve.
Oh,
Good.
So I agree.
Are you in Tulane law?
No, I'm not. I graduated. I did my undergraduate at Tulane. I applied to law school at Tulane, didn't get in. But I did right now back home in Miami. I'm doing it my law school at St. Thomas down here.
Oh, nice, man.
awesome.
What kind of law?
Yeah. Hope go into real estate law, help out the family business down here in Miami, Florida, dealing with real estate apartments and stuff like that.
Dang, that's awesome.
Cool.
I used to live in Miami. I lived in Coral Gables for a little bit, and I lived in Edgewater for a little bit.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
I see you're not
Yes,
a
sir.
fan of Michigan.
I hate JJ McCarthy with passion. I think he's overrated as hell.
He's the only guy with more EPA per attempt than Michael Pratt.
The only player.
That's an advanced iPop stat right there.
You just got
It is. I try to throw in some advanced stats in the chat.
Yeah,
with the
We appreciate it.
Yeah, you
the
did. You know
advanced
your
defense
stats.
insight on the kicker from UTSA. Because
Yeah.
I was also worried about that.
I was
too.
scrambling for it. He's like 43 for 43 on extra points.
He's 99.1% completion on extra points.
Dang. Yeah.
All right,
So
well,
Yeah.
there's that one he missed.
Kyle hasn't missed a Tulane because I know Merrick Glover was the last to miss a Tulane. No. Yes, I think so.
do
That
we
was been a
believe
little
you're-
shaky on
Yeah.
field goal attempts.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
I'll
was
double
at-
check.
I was on. Yeah.
Yeah, Merrick
The worst
Glover, South Alabama 2020 season opener was the last one. We have 187 consecutive extra points, which is fourth in the nation behind Northern Illinois, NC State, and UTSA.
I was
wow,
at
behind
that game.
UTSA?
Yeah,
Interesting.
All
I was
right.
at-
that is interesting. We're actually 3 behind them, so we could pass them.
Someone's gonna miss.
I was
I
saying,
was-
if there's one thing I'm positive is going to happen in this game is a missed extra point.
That's funny.
Now that you gave that stat.
I filmed that mixed extra point. I filmed that mixed extra point. It was I did video work for the Tulane football team back in I started in spring of 2018. So I
Oh,
did
that's awesome.
that whole I filmed all the way up until 2021. Spring of 2021. That's when I was graduated. So I was there for those games, and then I was there at the Cotton Bowl game last year
Yeah.
and enjoyed that. Made a couple other excursions out to games and stuff like that. Loved all of them, or at least tried to.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to get in a better spot so I can go to more games. What's like halfway, I need to find the midpoint of the American Athletic Conference and just move wherever that is.
You need to find
So
the
I'm-
midpoint of the ACC, Reed.
Yeah.
I pretty much, yeah. But I need to get in the middle of the American.
Yeah.
Come
But
back
that's
to
tough.
Miami. Come back to Miami. Come back to
Dude.
Miami.
I was gonna go to FAU last week, but I was in Savannah, so I couldn't. I wanted to.
I was gonna be if you needed housing, I got you. I get you one in the apartments. I'll get you the discount.
All right, good, good. We'll start an Uptown update party apartment in Miami
Let's go.
Uptown
There we go.
update house.
There we go.
to recruit future Boca Raton quarterbacks.
I didn't Hopper. I know I talked to you before the game, and I know I helped you out getting that information about.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're not live
No
right now,
problem.
are we? Jack?
No, what I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
We are, yeah, we are.
We're live on YouTube, yeah.
Oh, we are still live. Okay.
We
okay.
are still live on YouTube.
Whoa.
All right.
Let's
I
be
think if you
careful.
want to keep talking, join the Zoom
All right.
if you're on YouTube. And then thank you everyone for watching and listening. This was awesome. A lot of
Yeah.
fun.
If you
All right.
if you want to join, DM on Twitter.
Yeah, and join the Zoom. All right.